All right, everyone. Thanks for joining me for another Spin That Shit podcast. We got a great guest today. Nick Shoulders is with us. This is the third time he's been on. So always a treat, always a pleasure. Think a lot of the guy. I think he's really doing things with music that's outside the norm. He's kind of breaking stereotypes and mixing things and genres and doing his own thing. There's no rules in music, so he's having fun with it and it's paying off. So great live performer. Go see him live on the road if you can. But he's got new music coming out. We're going to talk about this new record and a little bit of what he's been up to here lately. So yeah, but before we do that, thank you to everyone that's been subscribing, liking, sharing. We're on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. We have a Patreon account if you want to jump on there and throw us a tip. That keeps this podcast rolling for sure. And we also have a radio show called the Coyote Radio Show. I'm gonna be preaching about that a lot. Not only do I get to talk to these cool artists all the time, but I want to be able to spin their music on a little radio show. They're little hour-long segments, give or take. Some of them are themed. Like right now, I'm working on one that's all about coal mining songs. Some of them are just a mix. Some songs are 100 years old. Some were recorded last month. So it's a very diverse mix of different types of country. And when I use the word country, it's a pretty loose term. There's some blues, some rock elements in there, some edgy alternative country mixed in. But all in all, it's good rooted country music. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. It's shared on Mixcloud. I'll be posting it all the time on social media. So it's called the Coyote Radio Show. So keep your ears out for that. And I think that covers everything. Let's go talk to Nick and see about this new record. Dude, how you been?
I've been well. I'm trying to figure out how this iPad. Okay, now I'm centered because it looks like I'm talking to you now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because if I look at the actual screen, it's like this. So I'll try to pretend
You'll be doing side eye. Like I'm doing the same thing.
Cool. Well, dude, thanks for rocking the hat. It's looking great.
Oh yeah. I need to get another one. One I can just get filthy dirty at work, and one I can keep clean for public display.
We're doing like a set of them, so we got more coming.
Yeah. It's so funny. I'll be like walking around, and it's usually somebody that's just dressed in all black and piercings and tattoos, and they're like, "What band is that, man?" That's definitely a metal band. I'm like, you can't read it?
Amazing. Yeah, hold on. I just wanted to show you this. I just went to a death metal show the other night in Little Rock, and this band was playing, and you can see, again, it's like, idea. But Kurt at Gar Holiday was like, dude, we got to make these like death metal camo hats because they're very trendy. And I was like, I like things that are fun, and this looks freaking fun, so let's go for it. So yeah, we're trying to ride the wave of heavy bands.
Yeah, you're down with the trend of metal content on camo.
Yeah, well, I mean, Rural Reclaim, a lot of us came from like being weirdo punks and metalheads and listening to scary music and stuff. So like whenever we were like, yeah, dude, you can still listen to stuff with scary breakdowns and distortion and like to go hunting and fishing. They're not mutually exclusive. Then people are,
Exactly. Yeah, that's definitely the trend on this show. It literally has to be like 90% of the people I've been talking to come from some sort of punk, metal, rock background. The next thing you know, they're yodeling and whistling like you.
Well, I have a theory, and if you like go back and look at old country recordings and listen to people talking interviews and stuff, like the fiddle was the devil's instrument or whatever, and like you have string bands in the South that are doing like pretty dissident sort of subversive protest kind of content, so it's not like it's always been sort of this like cheery thing, like, oh, you play country music, that's cool, everybody thinks that's like acceptable and neat. It used to be devil music, dancing was sinful, yes. Like honky talking was a bad deal. So like we've always been here, it's not like this is
yeah, that's awesome thing. You should write like a book about this or something.
Yeah, man, don't tempt me. I got enough weird shit to do, but I would definitely want to tackle that one specifically. If I was to tackle anything, it's the punk to podunk pipeline, because I've seen it plenty of times, just like you. It's like, but it's usually people coming from a certain route in this background. It's not like grasping it from midair. So it's like it's a certain amount of like honest to God reclaiming that I think's cool. So I'm all about it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Did you just get off the road?
Yeah, God, we've been doing summer of festivals here and there, and then some like real deal touring. But we just did a fun little bit where we had the full band in the van up to Hinterland in Iowa, and then down to Oklahoma to play a festival, and called it good on the summer. So I'm off the road. It's my birthday this week, so I'm just trying to be a birthday guy about it. Go to the lake, be lazy. It's gonna be
Yeah, there you go.
what the doctor ordered.
Yeah, yeah, you were all over this summer. Would you think it's safe to say this has been the like, as far as exposure goes, like the best summer yet?
Well, I mean, there's really no way to overstate without being silly about like how much we went from like playing the moldy honky tonks in New Orleans and Arkansas to like, oh shit, we're getting booked for like real deal stuff. So last summer was like the learning curve. Everything was still like fairly shut down to a certain extent, like some weird rules here and there that we had to abide by, which like, made things a little bit strange. But we were really kind of learning last summer into the fall how to like operate on this level and make these kind of drives and play and operate with these kind of crowds. And it was totally daunting and totally over the top. So this summer has been so much smoother. We've kind of like figured our thing out and like got it dialed in and like know what we're getting into. And then suddenly things are getting bigger and bigger. So yeah, without a doubt, this has been the best summer for the band. Yeah. And also a lot of our band wasn't quite still able to tour out of pandemic times, like with work considerations and whatnot and housing. So it was just sort of like we're taking whoever we can out. And now we have like a fully full-time band and our full-time tour manager. So everything is like real deal. It feels nice,
Yeah. I caught the set there at Birds Creek, and yeah, man, it's good. Like it's everything you want in a live show for people to come. You're going to be entertained. And of course you got stuff in between every song, and the history stuff, the funny stuff. It's just very captivating, and people pay attention. So,
well, thanks, dude. And yeah, I mean, we try to like make it a real show because, as discussed, we're coming from metal, hardcore punk backgrounds where people did not pay us to see us play. Like it was really a love of the game kind of thing. And so be able to go out and like have folks be as stoked as they are on the songs and like dance and hang out and stuff, like it's truly nuts. So to have the full band out of the like context of New Orleans bars or like Arkansas backwoods shindigs, like it's cool. We're not complaining. We're really happy that the whole band can come out.
Yeah. What you said Oklahoma Festival, which one was that?
It was a little thing called Turk Float Oklahoma, and it's put on by some folks who run various aspects of the legal weed world in Oklahoma, and they basically put on like a river float on the Illinois River, which, all right, I'll be really honest, I grew up interchangeably calling the Illinois, depending on who you're around, because like rednecks and old timers call it the Illinois. So the Illinois River runs near Tahlequah, Oklahoma, and it's basically the Oklahoma Ozarks. So it's right over the line from where we live in Arkansas, and it's beautiful, beautiful little festival on the river. But yeah, definitely the type of thing where like we got done playing in the sun, and we're like, we're hot. Let's just stick our buns in the river. So we got to immediately do that. It was amazing.
Did they correct you on Illinois?
I have so I've kind of come so far since the 16-year-old who would just be like, oh yeah, let's go to the Illinois, around people who are saying Illinois and not just like stand my ground and be like, I'm going to say Illinois because it seems ridiculous that we'll freak out about someone saying Arkansas, like literally get like that about it, but we'll say Illinois, so I'm just going to respect the boundary there. I'm not going to say Des Moines or Louisiana or just try to be as true to those French pronunciations as I can, because I sure as shit get my bristles up when people are or hackles up, that is, when people are mispronouncing our wonderful home state of Arkansas.
That's fair.
Yeah, but when I was out there, I was like, dude, I have swam naked in this river as like a teenager, so this is kind of fun and ridiculous to be back here playing on like a real stage with like the little monitor and lights and stuff like that. So Cool, pretty cool.
Yeah. So now you got some time off, and you mentioned back at Birch Creek that you're working on some music, possible a new record, or just some songs. Like, what's happening?
Oh, buddy, yeah, we
We
got a
need the
whole
juicy details.
yeah juicy details. We just got out of the studio, doing kind of the tail end of things, but we have a whole ass record to release coming up next year, and we did a session just now in Arkansas, but we did the majority of the work down in New Orleans at Mashed Potato Studios. We did it Homestead recording up here, and it honest to goodness, like I get pretty proud of our songs. I think we do good stuff. When merited, I feel like we can have a little pride in what we do. But this one, I'm like straight up stoked on. I think it's great. Like we put a lot of effort into the actual recording process, and it was so dreamy just to do it under the levee and like the old mashed potato house that hasn't gotten to have a record made in it since they've done a bunch of work on the place, and it's been years really since like I've gotten to hang out there in New Orleans since I left. So it was an all around cool thing to do it. And then we just cut like a few banjo, sort of old timey recordings up here in Arkansas to kind of round out the record. But it's a banger. I really and truly can't wait for people to hear it because it's kind of like if I Home on the Rage was a adaptation of necessity by the pandemic and everything like that, and this kind of feels like okay, well everything you heard on OK Crawdad, this is us having a couple years to like sharpen the edge and be like better at being a full band and like a full live country band. So I can't wait for people to hear it.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. It sounds great.
I mean, this is the annoying part, honest to goodness, is being like, dude, you're gonna love it. And then have to be like, okay, but it's gonna be a hot like second until it reaches anybody's ears. But maybe I would say by the end of this year, possibly there could be some singles out, but we can't be too sure about any of that. But hoping against all hope that it's sooner than later.
Now you did a song of Birds Creek that I hadn't heard you do before, and it had some crazy vocal. I don't even know how to explain it. Like I was like, what the hell am I watching? This is awesome. Is that one that's on the record? I'm sure that does that ring any bells? You know what I'm
Oh
talking about?
yeah. So pretty much a lot of this record is sort of like sitting in the front seat of our shuttle bus, rattling down the highway with like, trucks full of stuff whizzing by, almost killing us every 5 seconds, and like the shanty towns and the little places we stop, and the gas prices going up, and just everything being grimmer, 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 has informed a lot of the record and was sort of written, honest to goodness, kind of in my noodle as we were just bopping down the road a lot of this year. And it hasn't been a ton of stuff we practiced and played as a band. So it was really cool to get everybody together in New Orleans, like learn the songs and like go on that whole kick. But I had just the skeleton of this song put together, and we got in the studio and got down there as a band. And that was really the only one that we were like, okay, this is like us kind of crafting this. Like it was, I wrote it and did the vocal part and all that, but it was the only one that we sort of like carved up as a unit, and it's one of my favorites on the record. It's probably going to be the last single out, but yeah, can't wait for y'all to hear that weird shit.
Yeah, I remember hearing that, and I was like, "What is going on right now? I love this. Everyone needs to hear this right now because
I mean, I'm glad
that
you're
was
down.
worth the
Well,
price of admission."
as a longtime listener, I'm pretty stoked that you're stoked because like for all I know, we come out with this record and everyone's like, "What's up with this like Cajun song and this like blistering fast bluegrass thing next to these like honky tonk two steps with this freaking yodeling 6/8 bizarro rhythm and blues number?" Like it's not. I don't want to say it's too scattershot of like a genre capture, but it covers more ground than anything we put out yet, and it has like some cool family lore stuck in there next to just good old fashioned like heartbreaking songs. So I'm stoked for you to hear all of it, but that yodeling song specifically is one of
That's awesome. How many tracks are on the new record?
um I can't say for certain because we haven't like measured it out and gotten all the mixes back, but it could be as many as 14.
Okay,
It's a
good.
lot.
That's
Yeah.
great.
We have two instrumentals, so it's kind of this thing where just like I'm attached to little interludes and kind of making like sonic collages out of a record. After having a couple that are pretty straightforward, I'm like, I gotta have like a mouth bow song in there that's got bowed bass, and there needs to be like a weird, dreamy, waltzy instrumental to open the whole record. Like that, I kind of had some thoughts about this. Like, if you want to listen to this as a whole ordeal, like front to back, there's got to be some dynamics and fun stuff going on. So it's meant to sort of be a whole ass piece of music.
Yeah, yeah, that's gonna be great, man. Are you doing all the cover work as well, artwork, design?
Yeah, I was gonna say, now that I'm off the road, I get to do the thing that I enjoy probably as much, if not more, which is getting to doodle these things. I'm looking at the draft of it over there on the table. I'm not gonna drag it over here just for suspense's sake, but I turned my freaking house upside down and like got the place so I can work again on art because the pace of the road has been so humbling and invigorating, and like just being able to do that night after night is just such a rush and an honor. And then you get done with it and you're like, dude, my real life is wholly dysfunctional. I'm like, have I paid my insurance? Like it gets a little bit overwhelming. So I need to like, I don't know. I needed to kind of hit this reset at the end of the summer and be able to draw the record and be able to just do the art and get my ducks in a row. So it's been a good couple days. I kind of like woke up today and I was like, I could tour. I'm like saved up for it. I've got the energy, but instead I have like home tasks and that feels good. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm doodling that thing and it's burning a hole in my pocket over there.
Hey, I love sitting around doodling art and painting and stuff. Me and my wife do a lot of that stuff, and it's therapeutic for sure. I can only
Yeah.
imagine you coming off the road. It just feels so good to just kind of let it out.
Well, and I didn't go to school for music. I honestly didn't have a formal upbringing in it at all. I can't play a bar chord. I can't read a note of anything. Never had like a real lesson from a like formal instructor since I was a child trying to teach me piano, which failed. But I tried to go to school for art. I really and truly was like thinking I was going to be an illustrator, and I didn't finish, and I'm not a degree holder or anything, but I gained a lot of skills from like a formal art exposure and benefited from it a ton. So it's been really nice to be able to be like, okay, what I feel kind of put on this earth to do is belt these freaky songs out at the top of my voice, but what I was sort of like qualified to do by pedigree and discipline and work and working in the system was trying to be a real ass artist. So I'm kind of like finally getting to do a little bit of both, and it feels like a huge honor to have the platform to be able to put my drawings out in the world that I do with the albums and the internet presence and stuff. But there are still a lot of days I wake up and I'm like, I was a painter a decade ago. I would have what I did. It's like, dude, I might work at the sandwich shop, but I draw pictures. That's my thing. It's like I might yell in these bands, but like I really truly draw. So it's funny to be in the world and in the boots I am now, because I really and truly a decade ago would have been like, nah, man, I'm gonna like I'm gonna draw freaky monsters and shit, like design skateboard gear, and that's gonna be my life. And it was for it feels nice to do the grandpa music because it I get to cover both bases at this point.
Yeah. My my brother likes to do trippy art too. He's a graffiti artist. Uh, hit
Don't
some
tell
of
me what he
it.
writes. It's cool.
What's that?
Don't tell me what he writes. It's cool.
Well, yeah, it looks like this.
Oh, that's it. I love, yeah, that spiny stuff is really neat. I have a huge respect for that culture. I was into drawing skateboards and stuff, so it's all kind of like peripheral. I designed skateboards here in town for a while for Arkansas Skateboards, which also had kind of a spiny font. So I'm a big fan of that whole world.
Arkansas. Ah, that's
Yeah.
great. I'll be back down your way this winter again. And,
Yeah, come on down to the Washitas. I was actually just watching some whole bit about like bass fishing secrets on Lake Washita because I'm heading down there for my birthday, and I was like, dude, I've never even thought to just ask the hive mind, ask YouTube how other people fish this lake. I've just always kind of done it my way, and I was like, there's nothing to learn. It's the same shit. So I have just been sort of inundated in like Washita things the last couple of days, so I'm stoked you're making it down again.
yeah. I always say, like, if I wasn't, rooted here and have so much going on, there's a couple different areas I would go, and the Washita area, I've been going there for like 10 years now. I really like it. I think it's an underrated area, and a lot of people don't really know about it. And I do like the Cumberland Plateau.
I love the Cumberland. Holy crap.
Yeah. Most of my family roots are closer to the Eastern Kentucky, Virginia line, like Pennington Gap. So that hits home on my mom's side. So I always thought maybe heading out that way, but I'm locked down here for sure.
Well, what I do find so interesting about even the deepest holler of Appalachia, you're a few hours drive from the eastern seaboard. There's some unbelievably fantastically isolated places up in there that are so hard to get to, and it's physically and socially isolating in a huge way. But having spent time in the deep mountains up there and been in the deep mountains of Arkansas and Missouri, it's just, there's something weird and empty about out here where the population density is lower. It's like 6 hours to Dallas or something, like just being as separated from larger metros as we are, and then having the Great Plains and the great big swamps next door. Like, it's kind of got its own level of isolation that I'm not sure people totally like get how empty it really is out here. Like, may it forever stay that way. And like, maybe this sounds enticing or maybe it sounds terrifying, but like they're just Washita National Forests that feel like the moon to me, are so removed from so much of everything, and it's so gorgeous. Like I don't find that in a lot of places, and Washita and Ozarks, are kind of a last stand for that. I just learned the other day that the second biggest stand of contiguous old growth forest in North America is in Washita National Forest. It's like 800,000 acres or something is old growth, and the other is in Alaska. So I'm thinking, like, God, like all of out west being so vast, and yet still in the mountains of western Arkansas, there are these huge tracts of unbroken, unspoiled forest. And it's, makes me proud. The natural state, try to live up to its name every once in a while, even if it's got some regressive history and politics that we can sure wade into if you want to. But the real glory is what's left behind, which is the woods and the water and all the natural resources that are here for people to enjoy and steward, because it's an unbelievable wealth that we have here. We may be like competing for the second, third poorest state in the union, but people's quality of life is pretty good here just because we have so much common land.
Yeah. When I was down there last year, you remember the ice storm that hit in January, February or something?
Yeah.
Dude. So we're out there doing our thing in the woods, and we get stuck in a hotel room for 2 or 3 days because of this ice storm. And we couldn't get back out into the mountain where our traps were. We flipped them off because we knew it was coming. Went back out after the storm went out. Then at some point, we busted the transmission box underneath in the middle of nowhere, no reception, like dead center of the national forest. I had to walk up like this road up this hill, finally got a call out, and there was no one to call to come get us. They didn't even have tow trucks around. Luckily, there's a guy I knew, and he had a buddy, which was pretty far out, and said he'd come and get us. And I don't even know how many hours we were out there. And the truck was off, and we had no heat. Like, it was cold. Like, all right, this could get bad if someone doesn't show up. And sure enough, right when it was getting dark, here comes the lights down the dirt road. Got picked up, towed
Oh,
out.
lucky y'all too, because like I don't know. I've gotten in some pickles, but I've never been totally stranded where I couldn't move. You know, like that's where you're just like totally fucked like that. Like that's a scary one. One time got stuck on a gravel bar that I was sort of hungry and not judging very well. I was like, oh, dude, I'm in my van. It's whatever. I'll cross this creek. Creek was very deep and end up on the other side. And I realized I'm not crossing the main channel. I have just crossed a tributary of Richland Creek in flood stage. And it's like, this is huge. And so then I had to like walk up in the field and call the Buffalo Ranger District. And I was like, hey, there's a chance I'll be floating down Richland Creek here in T-minus 10 minutes. I have to back my van up across this creek to get out of here. So,
Oh
yeah,
my
they were like, okay, duly noted. We'll start sending a truck. And if you get out, call us. And otherwise, we'll just expect to be trying to fishing you out of the river. And I was like, great, cool, very cool. But we ended up backing straight through it. I think because my wheels were the lead, like the traction bearing wheels were the lead that time because I was backing through it instead of driving straight, that it like carried it through. But it was the scariest thing I've ever done in a van. And that was like when I toured it. It was super stupid.
Oh my gosh. The water coming up through the floorboards and stuff.
Yeah, when I saw it on the little side rail thing and it was like right underneath my side view mirror in this like, Chevy Express van, I was like, I have fucked up like so bad. and I'm we were spinning a little bit and I got out and there were literally minnows flopping on the gravel once I got out onto the land on the other side. This place I am on right now was underwater hours ago. And there's Richland Creek just roaring in front of me. And so I was like, shit, if I do get swept into this channel going backwards, I'm going into Richland Creek, which is like on full bore, it's like flood stage. So and I have my dog with me and batteries in there with my solar panels. So I switched off my whole solar array and I got extension cords and tied them inside the van so that if I did go adrift, that I was going to swim out and tie the extension cord to the van or to a tree so that the van would not sweep down Richland Creek. It was elaborate. It was completely
That's
elaborate.
some quick thinking, though.
We'll call it quick or desperate, whatever you want. But yeah, I've been stranded deep in the woods, and that was one where I was like, this is downright dumb, like utterly avoidable. You just got greedy. Every once in a while you get greedy and you just do something stupid out there. Like, I can make that. It's not that deep. It's not that wide. And then you get fucked for your redneckery. Well, that was me that time.
Hey, I've been there too, for sure. Even around here in Indiana. Flat cornfields that flood, driving through flood roads.
No, totally. And all that silty soil, I don't know how to gauge it. Like I know how to like go mudding in the Ozarks. I couldn't do it in like the Delta here even. I've never been there. So it's just like, I don't know. I used to go duck hunting as a kid with my friends' parents and family, and they would just like blast through bottomland and all these like soy fields and cotton and rice and stuff. And I'm just like, this is totally different. There's no rocks here. Like there's no
mud.
substrate. Yeah, it's just utterly mud. So yeah, I see y'all. It's a whole different world, but it's the same deal.
Yeah. Any sneak peeks of what you can say what this album might be titled, or do you even know?
Well, I'll tell the fun story. How about that?
Okay.
For a minute there, I like to have a little fun with my band. They're my friends too. We've been a unit of some variety for years now. And Grant, who plays bass and sings on all the records and with the live band, he, I have my fun here and there. And I was dead set on convincing him that we were titling the record Horse Whisperer, but spelling it like Hoarse. So like Horse Whisperer. And I like made a big to do about it. And I like side messaged the whole band. I talked to Kurt, who helps me run Gar Holiday Records. I talked to everybody and was like, dude, I'm telling Grant we're calling it Horse Whisperer, but it's totally not going to get called Horse Whisperer. It's a joke. And I carried on with this forever. I mean, and he didn't see it. I was like, yeah, we're going to call this one Horse Whisperer. And he was just kind of like, okay, I'm playing bass. You're an idiot. I do whatever the fuck you end up coming up with these stupid songs. So we ended up. I tried to stick with it for a bit and finally just caved. And I was like, I was trying to do something funny, but it doesn't appear to be landing. But we
He didn't care.
yeah, we can't call the record Horse Whisperer, but we ended up calling the opening track Horse Whisperer. So the first song on the record is HOARSE Whisperer, and it's the dumbest pun in all of country music history. I should
great.
make the so bold a claim. It's pretty dumb.
People are going to get that and try and pronounce that and be like, what in the world is going on?
Yeah, it's sort of like a hair's breadth. You know, you can do like a hair's breadth or a hair's breadth. Fucking wordplay, baby.
Yes. That's what music's about right there. Well, anything else I should know about before we sign off here, Nick?
Oh, if anybody is looking for a real deal travelable party and excuse to go to the Boston Mountains or the Ozark Plateaus this winter, we are hosting a Gar Hole like holiday party in Fayetteville, and it's gonna be 2 nights of music. We got Austin Cash, Dylan Earl, Willie Carlisle, Jess Harp, me, Daiquiri Queens, Losteens, Chris Acker, and Jude Brothers all together. And I think we may just have gotten 2 Runner to play an opening set during the day during a marker we're going to host, but it's kind of a big old like Gar Hole Records and adjacent family all playing in a couple of nights in town. But it's a stacked lineup, bringing all the New Orleans cats up. And yeah, I try not to like to hype too many of these, lest people show up and we have an off night and play like shit. But like this is gonna be a really good show. So I would encourage anybody that's like, if they've ever wanted to travel to Arkansas, well, guess what? In the winter, it's way the hell more tolerable. So, you know, here's your excuse.
When you got like a rough date on that, or
That
month even?
December 9th and 10th.
December 9th and 10th.
And that's at George's Majestic Lounge in Fayetteville. And you can get tickets, I think, on the Gar Hole website. But you should check out the Gar Hole website anyway, because it's our record label and we're very proud of it. Oh, sorry, I got the.
I'm going to have Willie on here later this week, Sunday, I think.
Nice.
Been trying to pin him down for a while.
Believe it. Yeah, his record's kicking ass. We're stoked to have him on for Friday night. I believe that'll be the 9th for the Gar Holidays event. I didn't name Gar Holidays, but that's a decent pun. That's not one of the first puns in country music history.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. I'm glad to hear that. Hey, if nothing's going on, I'll make the drive. I'm not scared.
Glad to have you. Yeah.
It's probably like 11 hours, maybe 10 hours. I don't know.
Right? Yeah. I haven't driven your way straight from here ever before, just in one shot, but I feel like there's got to be something to see. St. Louis would probably be on that route.
Yep, St. Louis, then I hit Springfield and come straight down.
Oh, that's a cool drive though. You get to do 412, see the Boston
through Joplin, and then down from there.
Yeah. Joplin would be the westward route, and then if you go from Springfield straight down, you go through Branson, which is your hillbilly Las Vegas. I think this is very cruel. This is gonna be a ridiculous ending to this episode, but growing up here, I used to see stickers that said "Nuke Branson." I never thought that was very nice. I enjoy Branson. We got some stray cats from a parking lot in Branson. Best Hank Williams impersonator you're ever going to see. It's right next to the Dinosaur Museum, which is frankly kind of like a tailor-made thing for me. If you get to go see the dinosaurs and a Hank Williams impersonator. So all that said, I endorse that stop. If you're in Branson, go see the Hank Williams impersonator and the Dinosaur Museum if they're still running. It's a good double whammy.
I haven't been there. I really haven't. All the travels, it's always a drive-through. I've never had time to stop and see it.
It's totally psycho. I don't know. You should do it unless you're feeling like super brave and weird, because it's like there's Silver Dollar City, aka Steal Your Dollar City. But
Yeah.
it's just hillbilly Las Vegas, but extra shabby and kind of exploitive of like Ozark mountain poverty. It's lovely. You'd love it.
Sounds like a plan.
Meet you there, dude.
That's how you want to end it.
I guess so. Go see the Hank Williams impersonator, Dinosaur Museum in Branson. Don't go to Silver Dollar City with a head full of pain pills in the rain in March, like I did when I was 17.
All right, that's good advice. And go check out the Gar Hole Records website.
And go to the Gar Holidays. We'd love to see you.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much for being on, man. It's always a pleasure. It's always a good time hanging out with you or whatever. So if you're ever in Indy, hit me up.
Appreciate you, bud. Always good to see you.
All right. Later.